It's just, I think the experience and the level of skill Antic have shown, even in that game against Bliss yesterday, they should be winning this bot lane pretty hard. And if Draco is freed up and is able to roam and impact the map, Incursio can be allowed to snowball then with the grouping up of his teammates. And that's when Zed really starts to shine. You know, finding those early kills and snowballing is what Zed is really good at. In the 1v1, it's going to be LeBlanc favored, of course, but still going to be able to farm, still going to be able to scale, especially with, you know, having 3 potions, having TP. He's not going to be too worried about the early game. But Widom might be a bit worried about a Dredge line hitting him right now.
He's got to show a lot of respect right now, but thankfully can just navigate behind that wall. A second wall there to try and block it on out. Will we get a flash to try and follow? No, simply just a Nautilus auto attack to reach your own place and try and cause a little bit of panic, but none to be found on this occasion. So, second time we've seen that play happen from the very get-go. We've everybody grouped up as 5 to try and find something in the tri-bush, but the second time they've gotten away.
Yeah, it's like a repeat of what we saw in the past. The Nautilus hook lands, but Nautilus doesn't get dragged all the way to the champion because of the way the hitbox works. You know, there's 2 separate hitboxes with the wall hook and the champion hook, so it isn't able to follow up with that auto attack route. But we are seeing the lane swap coming out of KNG, so they do not want to deal with this Nautilus Kai'Sa in the early game. They want to find that first couple of levels on the Lucian Nami where they're not so strong, get an early reset, and then match these lanes again. I think Widom positioning around mid here is really, really good. If this is a gold card into a potential chain coming out of Sovereign, this could be a lot of health being lost by Incursio.
It could be. Out goes the damage then. What can be followed up as a result? Sovereign looking to try and drop him down. Electrocute procs, which is nice. And just above 50% is the threshold he finds himself on as Widom continues to say, well, I don't actually want to go to bot lane. That sucks. Really not interested. A ward going across the wall. He's level 1 and just acting as a second support.
Yeah, well, Xornis, even though they did not expect his lane swap to come out, you know, they were caught off guard, Xornis is still catching all this experience in top lane, whereas Widom taking away experience from his mid, or just playing outside of experience and not really stealing it. He just wants to be able to get some level, some part in the early game, because, you know, we've seen this so many times when Twisted Fate gets lane swapped on, and is still useful in the mid game, because he can just throw out a gold card. That's his only job. You know, same time he is losing farm, Skinny and Incursio still having a rough time getting the CS, but they are all getting this experience, which Xornis is sharing with Sovereign right now.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, right? The fact that we find ourselves in a case of double lane swaps, 2 very aggressive bot lanes, both say, you know what, we just want to impact the map elsewhere. So that's a massive wave about to crash. And it becomes a bit of a guessing game as to who can get more accomplished with this one, because whilst the bot laner KNG seemingly is looking to reset, no, they're going to cancel that at the very last second, maybe based on the fact that Antic are saying, look, we're just going to crash this wave and set up a siege.
This is going to be a hard dive. Rumble does a lot of damage here, Skimmy, and I'm not quite sure they have the burst to be able to take him out.
No, they're going to find one with the assistance of that tower. Second one soon to follow. There it is. As easy as you like. It's such a rough one as you called on out. And Xornis, I mean, he's just laughing straight to the bank. Their bot lane is still winning. Nobody is there. But elsewhere, they're just getting the kills too.
And TP's back. We're used to seeing Rumble, especially in these volatile matchups, you know, take the combat summoner to really punish him, you know, whether that's the Ignite or even the Cleanse to deal with the gold card CC coming out in the mid game. But has the TP, which means he's going to teleport back to lane, get all this experience that he would have lost from the initial dive, pick up the double kill, and be the richest person on the map right now.
Crazy set of events there. And a real curious case of why, really? Why do we overforce that one so desperately, knowing that the Rumble is so strong? They look for the Zed. Oh, the fadeaway boulder. Nicely done there by Fury. Goes to the flash, just breaks the tether on that fear, but doesn't prevent himself from falling on down. So double buffs successfully transferred over, and Foreigner's a happy man.
Yeah, a lot of action happening in the early game, especially with this lane swap. But the real winner of this will be, you know, Xornis in his 1v1. He's supposed to be the person who falls behind the most because KNG are the ones who initiate the swap. And Widom should be on the front foot to be able to get some experience by like hiding in a bush or something, but decides to be the aggressor onto the mid wave. Really wants Sovereign to be able to win his 1v1, you know, be able to snowball. Because LeBlanc, if she is able to get ahead, is a champion who can absolutely take over the game.
Yeah, we certainly have seen many proficient LeBlancs over the years, not only domestically but internationally. You know just how slippery that champion can be. And I'm always going to remember that one game from Harry up against the dire walls, looking at Katsuri, across the wall, bang, dead. I mean, it's just so annoying. What is the outplay to that? Just don't play the game, apparently. Just never actually step outside your base.
Left my fountain, my bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, play safe. How? How do you want me when this champion has 15 different dashes to shut me down? Anyway, 5 minutes into this one then. Up by 700 gold. Antic going to be very happy about how things have played out, given the chaos with that lane swap. Obviously, the fact that double kill went to the Rumble. They basically took half the plates in the bot lane as well. And Raze is up by a sizable amount of CS2.
Yeah, the experience was going to be pretty similar in the bot lane though, and that's the major thing in the early game. Experience is more important than the CS. A lot of the item advantages won't really equate to any, or the CS leads won't really equate to any sizable item advantages at this point in the game, but it's going to talk about those first item spikes and these first kills, especially ones we're going to find into Refuri when he overextends in the river.
There's the death marker for a second. I thought Incursio was cosplaying Lemus for a second. He's stuck inside the wall there thinking, where do I go? Does get pushed out, and thankfully for him, gets pushed out to find himself a kill.
Yeah, very easy pickup, and this is like priority. This is what I always wanted to see from Incursio, you know. Priority comes out of bot lane. Incursio doesn't have priority in the mid because of his matchups. You know, he's playing these weaker early game champs, but he can rotate to these fights and be a strong skirmisher. And this is what I think he excels at, and what I'd like to see Antic keep honing in on.
Yeah, you mentioned last night, right? More towards playing the Silas and all those other aggressive champions. So it's also going to be very aggressive. The gold card is not there. The flash away denies that second turret shot, which would have been lethal. And this Rumble, even without that combat summoner with the Ignite, is a massive, massive problem.
Yeah, Woodon goes for the insta card locked in, praying it was a gold card, because if that was, there would have been the kill going over to Zornis as the Woodon as the trade, but you know, it was the blue card, doesn't find the trade, and a really nice solo kill from Zornis. So he picks up the Merc Treads, already has the components working towards the Leandries. He's going to be very safe with these tier 2 boosts, especially against the duo of Twisted Fate and Skarner.
Absolutely, even without that flash being available, certainly a warning sign that, hey, look, Refia, if you come to my lane, you might also fall victim to a bit of a cheeky 1v2, so don't entertain it. Go elsewhere and try and bail out somewhere else on the map. Easy said than done, though, because he is very much falling behind the pace that a Nocturne can offer.
Yeah, I think that Foreigner is doing a really good job in the early game. Playing for those counter ganks is the major thing you want to see from the Nocturne. You don't want to see him being proactive pre-6. He's not a very good ganker. He's just a good counter ganker and a good duelist. So if they do commit to these grubs and Foreigner does decide to walk in, it's going to be a very one-sided affair, especially since he has that ult advantage.
Certainly does. We always talk about that first paranoia. Needs to land, needs to find success with it, and I think he's got so many different options as to when he needs to use it. He doesn't need to feel too anxious as to rushing that one anytime soon. You just saw the amount of pressure coming out of this Rumble, so much so that drops Wood onto 50%. He panic pops the Ghost just to simply get disengaged from. So it does really go from bad to worse here as the gold lead continues to build up very steadily in an Antic favoured fashion, as to be expected given the matchup. But two of those grubs do go the way of Antic, with Refuri protecting Woodon for a potential dive. They are going to finally see that Foreigner is popping away.
And do you see an aggressive dash coming out of Vendrick, and this is the power of the Lucian. You know, when the dredge line is on cooldown, he can dash forward, and he's now going down.
That could be the case. As soon as he hits level 6, instant flash, lock in place with the root, and then go for the ultimate thereafter. But they realize the damage is not there. Another flash having to also be burnt, showing a lot of respect to the Lucian Nami, hoping that Incursio can rock up in time. That's a crazy interaction between the bubble and the hook. The hook always connects. Their death mark fadeaway kill. And Incursio and these assassins, it's something special.
Yeah, this is one of Incursio's very underrated strength, is his roam timings. He's always very good at impacting the map. And, you know, we'll keep seeing solo kills happen top, honestly, Skimmy. It's an unwinnable matchup for Woodon right now. You know, it's just way too one-sided for Zornis. And Sovereign does find and execute onto Raze. You know, I think it was a bit of disrespect from his team there. Just allowed him to walk up and land his full combo onto the low member of Raze. Did have the barrier, but didn't really think that damage was going to land and would be lethal for him. And
it caught me off guard as well, to be quite frank with you. I did not expect to see that whatsoever. Now they do turn around, and Race is just thinking, why didn't you guys do that whilst I was still there underneath the tower? I understand how it is. You just want to have Incursio as your new bot lane partner. That is just how it is. So Ray's already popping back to mid lane and saying, Draku, our relationship...
As a drop by Zornis into, you know... This is the power of the Harpoon from Rumble. You know, you land one, you throw the Equalizer, guarantees the second, and there's just so much damage, especially with combine that with the slow, and we might see Woodon go down again thanks to how much tenacity Zornis has right now.
I mean, do you even need to play-by-play this at this point, Tally? I mean, look at Zornis' camera. I think he's even sort of like shell-shocked by, why am I this strong? I'm overheating, and my auto attacks hit like an absolute juggernaut.
He's overheating in-game and IRL right now. He's too fed on the Rumble. But, you know, an engage coming out of Foreigner right now is going to punish the summoners from Gavin.
Yeah, the lights go out, the hook comes in, and it's a very dead fish. Nami, unfortunately, long for the worlds, and is taken out in a heartbeat. That's what you love to see from the very first ultimate of the Nocturne, and making sure that Foreigner continues to keep his foot on the gas.
Yeah, and I really like to see the the static shift coming out of Raze. I think that we're seeing Kraken as the default for Kai'Sa, but there are angles where the static shift can be better. You know, when you don't have as much uptime onto the enemy team, you see much of a squishy roster coming out of Kanga. You know, Shiv does give you more stats, you get more AD and more attack speed, so it's just nicer for finding those evolutions a bit faster and being stronger in the early game. We see, once again, Draco just always being aggressive in the bot lane. This is what we think about when we see him on the null. It's just always trying to find that hook angle, follow out with the kill instinct, and find those easy 2-2s.
Certainly is one of the very much premier support players, especially when it comes to engaging. Not going to be too afraid whatsoever. Fury.
Killing spree. Super Galaxy Red team has slain the dragon. Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Fiery spirit of the Euro Inferno!
Welcome back. Well, I don't know really what happened there. Either way, maybe it's a bit of, foreshadowing. We talked about the Zoranus overheating a game in person. Even ourselves overheating. We just completely lost connection to that game. So maybe you just got to enjoy a little bit of League of Legends ASMR. No distractions from myself and Tally. But we're back into the fold of things finally. 2 dragons being picked up here by Antic. They got 5 grubs. The objectives are their best friend right now. And this would seem that after taking that turret, that tier 1 in the bot lane, Kanga once again want to try and find that initiation. The tidal wave expires. Sovereign jumps in with the tethered chains, but they can't find the kill. Out comes the Destiny. There is the TP, and there is so much damage. They instantly flash that wall, and Zoranus, I tell you what, he's saying, come back here. I'm not finished. If you're not going to fight me, you're going to have to fight my Fed assassin player. The lights go out. Foreigner is top lane, but he's putting so much utility in across the map.
What a banger scheme. You know, we come back from the IRL Nocturne ult, straight back into another Nocturne ult, and the map is just absolutely exploding, and I think this is nice to see from Antic. We were commenting on how they didn't really have that team cohesion yesterday, but right now we're seeing gank happening bottom from Kanga, teleport in response from Zoranus, Foreigner covers the top side by using his ult to, really take out Wood on, and he's trying to steal away the blue right now, but, Rifu really wants to be able to defend this camp, and he might be aggressing onto Foreigner if he does stay around for too long.
Yeah, looks like because there's no smite, he's just going to pay respects and just walk out of that situation. But I think in terms of the questions we came into this series with, we wanted to see a clean series from Antic. I think so far it's, it's ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we are seeing the same, similar style from Kanga as well. I think that they don't have necessarily really bad early games, but especially against a really good roster like Antic, based on yesterday's game, you'd think that Antic weren't in a really good form, but I think that just goes to show how good, our top 2 teams are in Grand Zero and Blitz. They just look so... It looks like there's a clear order when it comes to the 1, 2, 3 teams, but I still think Antic are a very good roster and they know how to play the game, and it's nice to see they are locking in on this play style that I really wanted to see coming out of the roster.
Let's see then. With this lead that they have, up by 7,500 gold, what they can really do with this, because Kanga showing a great deal of restraint. They've tried and tried again with a solution number to try and get the job started. It's not been successful for them. And it's a case of, do these side lanes even exist? I don't believe that is the case. It's a little bit too rough for them, and it's a case of just play safe. How do you play safe there, Tally? You cannot. They come from every single inch. They're literally hiding in your walls.
That's... That is, you know, you're playing the weak side TF, you're 1 in 5, you're like, all right, they're not going to invest the resources to me. And all of a sudden you see the Avengers come over the wall and just absolutely, you know, take your life. Easy kill pick up for them, easy tower pick up for Zoranus. He is so fed in this Rumble, and we all know how powerful these solo AP champs are, especially when they get so much kill. He's level 12, Skimmy. These harpoons are going to hurt.
Oh, they really are hurting. It's a little bit too much to try and deal with right now. I don't actually know how KNG stopped them. Quite honestly, they group up, they just push a lane. They say, what are you going to do about it? That level of disrespect in terms of we're just so good. And you shouldn't really expect any other outcome. I will say, though, there is a world in which potentially something crazy can happen up the objective. Maybe a little bit of, you know, cheeky shenanigans. But these side lanes, that is the biggest problem now.
Yeah, this is the major strength for Antics Comp, you know, paired with the Nocturne. Side lanes are their main win condition. One of the strengths of Nocturne is you can really cover up for like these weaker side laners, but thankfully for Antic, they both they have these two really strong side laners which can enable the Nocturne to be even better. So they have multiple engaged avenues with having priority on bot and top to collapse on mid. Or, you know, if they want to use the Kaisanolas to move to the side lanes, as Wudon, unfortunately, might be falling down again to, you know, the Zoranus who has 2 items already at 16 minutes.
It's just not fair. Dude hits the ghost, he's running from his problems. And I think Zoranus doesn't actually know how to play the game. And that's a good thing, because he's probably like, I've never been this fed this early on. I don't even understand my own damage right now, as here we go again for a little bit of cheeky shenanigans. The lights go out, Incursio jumps in, he can't get it done on his own, the flash to try and confuse them, they go for the clone! Sovereign may just be the GOAT.
Shadow clone jutsu never fails, Skimmy. You know, if you're a LeBlanc, if you're caught out, if you think you're gonna die, just stand still and run the clone off into the, you know, enemy jungle, and you'll always get out of there every time, I swear to God.
It's just too easy, it's just too easy.
Oh, no.
Shenanigans, Wudon, oh no, oh no. We're about to hit the promised land of a 0-10.
Oh.
Yes, so he's 1-8 so far. Stop, Zoranus, you're doing too much damage. Double kill on this occasion, though, is to be picked up by Raze, as he is very much hot on his heels to try and see who can get the most kills in this game.
Yeah, and another nice thing when you think about Antics Comp is Raze is able to build towards his AP, so he can be this champ, you know, functions as an AD threat in the early game, and he can really itemize his build based on what's happening in the game. If Zoranus falls behind, he can be the AP threat, because KNG's Comp is not good into this Kai'Sa poke, but, you know, if he's versing something where he wants to go a lot more for that on-hit, be the AD threat, you know, he has the options. This is such a nice thing about Kai'Sa, and it's just a nice blanket cover in the draft.
So much flexibility, what a fantastic chance. This is just so unfortunate. Like, hey guys, I'm here for the gank, I'm dead.
Yeah, Zoranus just drops the equalizer on every single member who was in mid lane from KNG, and it does so much damage at this point. You know, we're used to seeing, you know, you think of old Rumbles where they would go like the Death Cap second, be these insanely strong, you know, burst champions, but Rumble's more of a very Bruiser-esque champion now, you know, builds these double Leandry's items, or double, you know, I can't remember what the component's called, but, you know, builds these items where a lot more burn, a lot more health in the, you know, early game parts of the game, so just a different champion overall, but still has that same damage output.
Different breed, as you say, right? So much damage, so tanky. You're thinking, I guess this is where we are in Season 14. Every champion just has so much to try and get through. You could probably go on like a bit of a boomerang, you know? Back in my day, these champions used to have, you know, a tumble. They went invisible and you went, oh my God, that's insane. It's the best. And now it's like 15 billion dashes.
Oh, here we go.
It's a tank, by the way. Wudon, come on. What can we do? It's a 1v4. This Rumble, unleashed. Zoranus dropped the nuke. There he goes, on the flame carpet. He's at the Oscars. He's got the nice tux on. It's pressed, it's clean, it's ready to go. But he's got drunk at the after party. He's fallen on down, and Sovereign's taken him out on this occasion. Actually found himself a double kill, which is quite nice. Can he find much more than that? This time he doesn't have the luxury of those clones, but here comes Fauna. You banned away my Viego. I'm mad. So I'm going to kill you as this Nocturne, and a pesky little wall might deny Draku for the meantime. He's still hunting, and that blast code actually allows him to continue hunting, Tally.
Ooh, I'm not sure if they have damage. If they do get the CC onto him, Fauna will absolutely be able to take him out, but you know, KNG aren't going to feel too bad about that trade. You know, they pick up all the shutdowns on the crucial members. You know, Sovereign is getting quite bedless of LeBlanc. Well, it may look like an absolute mountain to climb to be able to win this game. You know, it's still, you know, they are getting some little wins from these overextensions coming out of the Antic members.
But it certainly did take an entire army. The Avengers had to be summoned here to set up yet another game of who can kill the Rumble. And it took 4 members, Tally.
Yeah, and they really tried to take out Zonos, but he bought so much time, already trading 1-for-1, so his job is done, and Cursor throws out the TP, the bot lane rotates over, Foreigner rotates with the, the paranoia to make sure he can collapse and finish off the members as well. Just really well played in the skirmish to majority of the KNG members to really find those shutdowns and get some gold on the board.
Let's see what is left in the tank. Are there any twists or turns to still come in this one? With the Baron now having spawned at the 20-minute mark, Antic instantly turn their attention towards that one. It is a very uphill battle. It would be the biggest cardio workout to try and run from your base all the way over to that Baron and hope that you can try and make a miracle occur. But KNG have to do something. They can't just sit back here and continue to bleed out slowly. They'll look to really turn their attention onto any target that gets within their grasp, but it is a very split occasion, even on the Antic side. As Rage jumps in, instantly wipes the floor of them, showcasing that with the double items, he'll get himself a double kill. Fury pretending to be the Wolf Camp, and then just goes for a cheeky little drift, tries to assassinate Incursio. He says, I've got clones just like your mid laner, you can't catch me, but what he can do is ruin the perfect KDA for Foreigner. That's his first death off this game. I tell you what, Skarner, doesn't matter if it's top lane or jungle, it's a damn tanky Scorpion.
Yeah, what an absolute beast from Fury there, trying his best to win the 1v3, but just doesn't have enough energy left in the tank to be able to do anything there. So much damage coming out of the Antic roster, pick up the double inhibitor, and this might just be another kill for Zonos. It just looks so easy for him, but he does trade his life in the end, so some more gold going over to the carries of KNG, and, Skimmy, I've seen worse games being won in solo queue, It's not like... I wouldn't bet my life that this is an Antic win right now, but I will be very confident that this is a very easy game for them to close out.
No doubt about it. I mean, you look at the map, triple inhibitors have to be picked up. This would be the craziest upset if it were to go KNG's way, because look how much gold they're up by. And this is the desperation, and this is really a forced move that they had to entertain, but very scrappy. So many individual 1v1s or 2v2s.
Yeah, and this is just the, Foreigner goes in, lands the CC. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Raze lands the Void Seeker, so he's able to go in with these ult, find the easy kills, and I think that's just a really good job of, you guys left your backline open, we're diving onto them without, assassins.
You certainly have a lot of damage threats. It could be literally any of these champions that dive at you. They are all assassins at this point of the game, Draco included, to be quite fair. Very scary prospects. Incursio says, we want to go for the end, you want to go for the base, I won't let that happen. Actually just going to sit on top of Gavin and say, it could be nice. Oh. You can hit me with the full combo, and maybe you do get away. But in the end, no, does get denied. Inside the base, the rest of his squad looks to wipe the floor, and they'll try and set up their last valiant defense, stuck inside the fountain, utilizing that region to try and allow them to fight back. And can they find it? It's not to be. The barrier this time used to great success. Raze won't die a third time. Not to the hands of that pesky LeBlanc, like underneath that tier 1 very early on into that laning phase. But 23 minutes in, Antic do put this game 1 to rest.
Yeah, very, very clean performance from Antic. Just pure lane domination coming out of the entire side. I think that everyone performed individually really well. KNG still trying to find that first win, Skimmy, and I think they're going to have to change up quite a lot, especially into the surprise assassin picks coming out of Incursio.
Yeah, it's a really tall order at this point now. We talked about some of the last games they had left to close out this season. They've struggled, they certainly have, but the admission from Vendrick before, a very honest one, very candid one, and I think it paints a very accurate picture that this has been a tough series, but a tough season for them to get to grips with what